Hey guys, MaliciousCompliance here, and today I am revisiting a subreddit that I did in my, what I called my Reddit project. So, I am revisiting Malicious Compliance, and today I have 4 stories lined up. I'm not gonna bother with, like, the time code stuff that I did for the Reddit project. This is different content than that. You're just here to watch me read some stories. That's really it. And I'm gonna try and do some like actions with it. Let's start with this one. Forget everything about this place? A malicious compliance over a decade in the making. TLDR, CEO of old company cheaped out on client solutions and employee compensation, tells me to forget everything when I leave over 10 years later, tells me to help him with the same clients, but I forgot everything since then. Many years ago, I worked for a little company. CEO was a miser of the first order. We needed image hosting for a large client account, and CEO was unwilling to pay for maybe 2 to 3k in annual image hosting fees at the time, even though the company made millions off of the deal. Me, being an enterprising individual, I figured out a way to host images on Flickr. I saved the login information in a physical notebook and kept informing them that this is a house of cards and we need to switch to a professional service. Several months later, I was promoted and asked for a raise to go with my promotion. CEO said no. All promotions and raises required CEO sign-off. I tried negotiating, but CEO said no, and he'd sue me if I did anything with the client accounts afterwards, i.e. sabotage or steal clients. I told him I'm leaving all my knowledge behind in the notebook in my final email to him, my manager, and BCC my personal email. In this email, a full inventory of what I left behind. Invoices, contracts, etc, 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 etc. Sorry. Include this entry. Personal notebook, account notes and reference material, including image hosting logins for accounts. Keep for reference. Recently, I received a professional networking site message from CEO telling me to help them with my old accounts or he'll sue me. Apparently, Flickr changed their terms of service and the images were deleted. In over 10 years, nobody updated any documentation or the image hosting. Nobody bothered checking the email account either that was used to log into the Flickr account. I told him that I cannot help. Per his request, I forgot everything I knew about his company and anything I knew was in that notebook I left him over 10 years ago. Seriously though, I don't remember what I had for breakfast. Technical details from that long ago. I just laugh. just why do you laugh? Just 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 the one laugh, like ha. Automated my useless boss out of her job. This happened a few years ago. I was a data and reporting analysis and did all the ad hoc reports for the company. My boss, we'll call her Kerry, was a useless. She was one of those people that was always late. I love how it just cuts off. Was a useless. Fill in the blank. she left early and took days off at short notice. The only thing of value she did was all the regular reports, sales, revenue, etc, 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 etc. Stop using the etc, it keeps happening. Oh my gosh. We suspected she got away with it because she was having an affair with her boss. Wow, yeah. Our CEO was a fairly decent bloke. He'd look for ways to cut costs and would pay regular bonuses for the best cost-saving initiatives. Gary was very keen to submit ideas and encourage us all to automate our tasks so she could try and take the credit for the savings. On one of her days, which coincidentally Stuart was sick as well, the CEO was desperate for the sales report my boss does. I said I'd give it a look and see if I could get it done. Normally she'd spend 2 to 3 days doing it each week, but the CEO wanted it that afternoon. A quick inspection of the data showed it would be quite easily be automated, so I knocked up the necessary script and got it over to the CEO, who was super impressed that not only had I got it done in a couple of hours, but also data could be updated whenever he needed it. He asked if I could also look at the revenue, churn, and a couple of other reports. Over that afternoon, I automated everything my boss did. Both Kerry and Stuart were back in the next day, but were immediately summoned to the CEO's office before being suspended and sent home. Turns out the CEO knew they were having an affair, and all the times they were sick or late or had to leave early was so they could sneak off and have wow, yeah. He'd not done anything about it because how important these reports were. Now they were automated. He was able to get them suspended and later fired for gross misconduct for all the time they'd taken off. I also got a nice bonus out of it. TLDR, my useless boss encouraged us to automate our work, so I automated all her tasks, and the CEO fired her for just sign this document that will, dock you 11.5 hours. Whew, that's a lot of hours. I'm a middle school teacher who speaks fluent Spanish, thanks to growing up in the West Valley. Go Suns! Who's the Suns? All I know is the Gold Coast Suns. And their football team. I don't even watch football. The fact that I'm bilingual has given me many opportunities, including one where a teacher in charge of an English language learner, or ELL, important acronym for later, program, gave me the opportunity to tutor students twice weekly, plus an additional 15 minutes per every hour worked as prep time. Okay, cool. So Mondays and Fridays, I punch in 15 minutes before 2:20 PM during my 7th hour prep, and punch out at 3:30 PM when the kids left. No problem, right? Wrong! At the end of the year, I get an email saying I'm being docked 11.5 hours that were punched in before the end of the day. What? I was livid. They claimed I'm getting double paid, but I looked through everything I signed off on and didn't remember seeing any restrictions on when I was to punch in for those hours. We met in the office, and the district representative had me sign this document that she showed me the contract I signed. Nowhere did it specify when I was to punch in those hours. And I brought this to both people's attention who was present, but Federal Action Plan fat office lady persisted. Just sign it. You can't get double paid. Enter malicious compliance. I signed quickly, this time using my middle name, which happens to be F this BS. It read F this BSP. I happen to know the person at district office, Dio Savior, who will be reviewing this paperwork, and know she'll either ask me what's up or to have me resign an obvious non-signature. Like clockwork, I get a phone call on my 7-hour prep from Dio Savior. She asked why I signed like this and why I'm being docked. I explained my working with the 2 new students who don't speak any English all year, and even teaching them both English all year. I explained that no one said anything all year, and that I'd make the adjustment to get paid those hours the entire school year. She says, "Wait a minute, you are on prep time, right? And you're bilingual. Do you have a cert?" All answers were yes, yes, yes. My next paycheck was $3,500 more than my standard paycheck, coming out of the fat lady's budget for federal action plans. I was very confused at first. It appears I can punch in during my contract hours if it is on my scheduled prep, and because I have an ELL endorsement, I got this endorsement working with monolingual students in the West Valley, and my direct supervisor on campus doesn't. I get paid as an ELL leader on campus, quite the stipend. So what was supposed to be a $345 deduction in pay for me turned out to be 10 times greater as a deduction from their department paid directly to me. So it looks like Fat Lady's right. I can't get double paid, but it looks like I can get quadruple paid. TLDR, district office paper pusher tries to apply a non-existent rule retroactively to save herself a buck. She lost a lot of those bucks thanks to me. Nice. Why? Why do people try and scam you at, like, schools? Why is that such a thing? I hope that doesn't happen to me when I get into working at schools. Last story. In the early 2000s, I worked at a Canadian casino. The place had so many ridiculous rules, including some very particular rules about makeup. The makeup rules were as follows: no fake eyelashes, no fake fingernails or fingernail extensions, no makeup that is not a natural colour. The natural colour one confused me. What is deemed natural? Who decides what is and isn't natural? I asked my manager for clarification, but she couldn't give me any. Just keep it natural. Use natural occurring colours and you'll be fine. Come on out with the greens. This did not sit well with me. Cue malicious compliance. My aunt has her master's in environmental science. Oh, yep, let's go. Rock colour, moss colour, tree colour. I went to her house one evening and picked her brain about natural occurring colours. She informed me that scientifically natural occurring colours are colours that can be found directly in nature. She even showed me a textbook that directly spoke about natural occurring colours. I borrowed the textbook and highlighted the paragraphs that specified this. Keep in mind, this was well before you could just Google something. The only way to back up the claim was to carry that 750 page textbook to work with me. It's just like, read this one. My next shift, I went all out. Green eyeliner, eggplant coloured eyeshadow, yellow nail polish on one hand, and mango coloured on the other hand. I hit the floor to work, and within the first few minutes, I get hauled into the manager's office. OP, what do you think you're doing? You cannot wear those colours. You know our policy states natural occurring colours. When it comes to makeup, head to the staff bathroom immediately and remove it. Wordlessly, I headed to the staff bathroom, but instead of taking the makeup off, I went to my locker, grabbed the textbook, and marched back to my manager's office. Excuse me, manager. I am wearing natural occurring colours. Here, look at this textbook that specifically states what natural occurring colours are by definition. I watched her face change as she read the book. First she looked pissed, then worried, then finally resigned herself to what was happening. OP, do you really need to be that type of person? The type that follows the rules? I thought that's what you wanted me to do. She asked me to head back to the floor. For the remaining time I was employed there, I wore whatever colour makeup I wanted, and so did almost all of my co-workers. They tried coming out with new rules, but never could get the wording right. F, stupid rules, malicious compliance for the win! Yes! I knew the green was gonna come! I didn't expect eggplant colour, or yellow, or mango. It's like you tried to say naturally occurring colours. Almost all the colours are naturally occurring. You got your browns, that's like trees. You got greens, that's leaves. Purple for eggplant. Orange for oranges. Yellow for lemons. White. White is actually a natural color because you got like the jasmine flower is white. It can also be pink. Pink's a natural color. Literally all the colors in the rainbow, natural colors right there. Like, how specific is the natural colors? Like, next time, use the word, like, nude colors. You say nude colors, so that way you can't, like, nude colors is the way to word it. Although someone might try and do red and claim, well, if I don't have my skin on, am I still nude? Like, technically, without the skin on, I'm nude still. And with that, I'm going to end this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and also a second channel for you guys to go check out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know the next video comes out. A ding, ding, Mad Scientist out.